Imagine plummeting from the sky 10,000 feet above the earth, strapped to a seat, falling through the stormy clouds and crashing into the dense, untamed Amazon rainforest. And even after such a tragic event, luck favors you, and against all odds, you survive. This is the unbelievable, jaw-dropping story of Julianne Kupka, the lone survivor of the 1971 LANSA Flight 508 disaster, a woman who defied the impossible. But her survival didn't end with the crash. For 11 days, she battled hunger, dehydration, venomous creatures, and unimaginable terror deep in one of the most dangerous jungles on Earth. This is the story of how she lived when everything else said she should have died. Julianne Kupka was born on October 10, 1994, in Lima, Peru. Her parents were German biologists studying the rich biodiversity of South America. Julianne grew up in the heart of nature, moving between the bustling city and the sprawling Peruvian rainforests where her parents conducted their research. From an early age, Julianne was no stranger to the wild. She learned how to live amongst nature's harsh elements, a skill that would one day save her life in ways no one could have imagined. It was December 24th, 1971, Christmas Eve. Julianne, just 17 years old, boarded LANSA Flight 508 with her mother, hoping to reunite with her father for the holidays. The plane was bound from Lima to Pucallpa, cutting through the Peruvian rainforest. But as the plane ascended into the sky, it flew straight into a storm. Thunder roared. Lightning flashed. The aircraft was shaken by violent turbulence.
I remember my mother leaning over to me and saying, "This is the end. It's all over."
Just moments later, lightning struck the plane. The aircraft split apart mid-air, tearing Julianne and the other passengers out of their seats. Julianne found herself plummeting, still strapped to her seat, into the abyss of the Amazon jungle. Julianne fell over 10,000 feet, about 2 miles through the air. Incredibly, the thick canopy of trees cushioned her fall, and the seat she was strapped to absorbed much of the impact. She hit the ground with a force that should have killed her, but when she opened her eyes, she was alive. Julianne had survived the fall, an event that should have been fatal, but she survived and was severely injured. Julianne was so badly injured that her collarbone was broken, along other multiple injuries, like one of her eyes was swollen shut, and she had deep gashes in her arms and legs. But the vast, uncharted Amazon stretched out around her, an endless green hell. She was completely alone. Her first task was survival. The Amazon is home to deadly predators, jaguars, poisonous snakes, and venomous insects. But Julianne's knowledge of the rainforest, thanks to her parents' teachings, helped her keep calm. She knew she had to keep moving. With only a bag of candy as her food supply, she desperately searched for water. Julianne knew that in the rainforest, water was her lifeline. She found a small stream and followed it, knowing that water would eventually lead her to civilization. For days, she survived on just the water from the streams and rivers, but food was scarce. The only sustenance she had was the small pack of candy she'd found in the wreckage. Day by day, the candy disappeared. Soon, Julianne had nothing but her willpower to keep her going. The jungle was relentless. At night, the sounds of the forest came alive. Animals prowling, insects swarming, Julianne was constantly on the lookout for danger. She had no shelter, no proper food, and infection set in quickly. Soon, maggots began burrowing into the wounds on her arm. It was a horrifying sight, but she knew that she had no choice but to press on. For 11 excruciating days, Julianne walked. Her body was battered, her mind was on the brink of collapse, but she knew the only way to survive was to keep moving. Day after day, she followed the stream, growing weaker with each passing moment. But still, she held on to hope, remembering the survival tactics her parents had taught her. On the 11th day, Julianne finally saw signs of human life. A small boat moored by the riverbank. It was as if she had stumbled upon a miracle. She waited, and soon local Peruvian loggers appeared. They were astonished to find a young girl, weak, starving, and badly injured, yet alive. The men treated her wounds and took her to the nearest village. From there, she was flown to a hospital where she was reunited with her father, who had feared he had lost both his wife and daughter to the crash. Julianne Kupska not only survived the unimaginable, she thrived. She went on to become a biologist, just like her parents, dedicating her life to the conservation of the Amazon rainforest. Her story is one of resilience, courage, and the strength of the human spirit. Julianne's survival remains one of the most extraordinary tales in history, a reminder that sometimes the will to live can overcome even the most impossible odds. Thank you for watching this incredible story of survival. If you found Julianne's journey as inspiring as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more unbelievable true stories. Stay tuned, and remember, sometimes the strongest thing we have is our will to survive.